Good evening, everyone. Let's see here. We are having some lighting issues, it seems, but that's okay. We'll get through. Hopefully, everyone is doing okay tonight. Looks like we actually got quite a few people in here already. Oni-chan, good to see you. Luna, good to see you. Mr. T, good to see you. Angela, good to see you. Is that one? Vespiration, I think that is. Hello. Let's see. All right, we got a few people already in here. Whoa, okay. A lot more than I thought, too. Wildfire, good to see you. Dang, look at that. Oh, I forgot to mute that again. That figures. Okay, we got that now. A12, Anthony. Cool. Hey. I think I got her. Uber. Hey, good to see you, man. Bornoldus and Animal Man. Hey, been a while, Animal Man. All right. So, heads up, I am tired. I am wore out tonight. But that's okay. We're going to have some fun or attempt to all the same. It is great to see you all. As many of you all may have heard, because, well, it's just getting worse over at the Facebook page. So they still haven't got that fixed. So sometime this week, we're actually going to go ahead and shut that page down. So if you are on the Facebook group page, there is currently a link posted on the page to help you get over to the Discord, because apparently some people have not heard me mention the Discord before. So there is a Discord. It's been there for well over a year. We got a good community, and Discord is really good about letting us just get in there and have some chats and discuss the metaphysics and all that. Facebook has not been so good with that, unfortunately. So that page will be getting closed down. Now, with that page closing down, someone did ask me, does that mean that Working Dragon Mystic is shutting down? Heck no. Working Dragon Mystic is still very much going to be here and sharing information and causing as many problems as we can cause, because we like to get up to shenanigans. You know how that is. Also, with that, do remember tomorrow is the final day if you want to enter the Halloween art contest. Tomorrow is the final day to turn in your work. So let's see. On the morning of the 26th, about 10 a.m., I will officially be sending off the images to be voted on. If you do not have it at least sent to me in direct message or email by then, which I'll check them before I send them off. That way, wherever you're at, even if it's not Eastern Standard Time, you have that little window to get it there. It won't be judged. So I apologize for that if you don't get it in on time. But that is the deadline. So there we go. All right, let's see. Anything else? I think that might be it. Other than that, do be sure to give the videos some likes, because that, of course, helps the algorithm let Facebook know you guys enjoy the work we're doing. And that way they'll show more people. We can reach more seekers and hopefully help more people actually get a handle on their life. All right, now let's see here what we got. Magic and coffee and magic discussions. Yes, mugs up to that one for sure. All right. Have I ever worked with Mephistopheles? If so, can you give some info and share advice? I have reached out to Mephistopheles, and by and large, Mephistopheles functions more as a motivator and a teacher. I know he has a lot of reputation as being like the father of pacts, the father of deals, and all this other crap. And a lot of that comes from the Faustian story slash play slash poem. And in fact, a lot of people actually question whether or not Mephistopheles is even an entity or just a creation of the Faustian poem. And even me, I still actually ask that very same question myself, because it does have a very drastically different feel to it. But in the workings I've done with Mephistopheles, I've gotten some pretty good results. I do know that Asenath Mason wrote a book on Mephistopheles, and done some of her writings and shared her thoughts on the Faustian traditions. And it's an interesting read. It's a very short read. Um, Honestly, for the price of the book, you'd expect more in it because it's a thin little guy. But that's kind of the thing when you're dealing with a system that's largely considered to be based on a work of fiction. Um, and I'll be honest, the jury for me personally is still out. Let's see. Tarot Magician, welcome. Good to see you. See, if I'm not mistaken, I can replace the Lesser Banishing Ritual or Kabbalic Cross Ritual with the Flame Ritual because I'm reading a book that calls for it, but I'd rather use the Flame Ritual. Yeah, if you're not comfortable using the Lesser Banishing Ritual or the Kabbalic Cross of Ceremonial Magic, a lot of people are not due to the different god names that are used in so doing. You actually can do that. Um, in fact, I know a few ceremonial magicians who I've worked with, and we tinkered with both of those rituals at different times. And we even came up with a draconic version of the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, as well as uh, the cross that's done during it. So it's actually something I've considered sharing here on the YouTube channel, just as a variant option for people who aren't comfortable using the god names and stuff. And I understand that. But yes, you can do that. Let's see. Have I worked with? Oh, I can't even say that. I'm not even. Let's see. I'm not sure. I do not recognize the particular name or spelling there of it, and I do know that there's a lot of different spellings. Um, it almost looks Mesopotamian or Sumerian in spelling. Um, but since I don't recognize it, it could be I'm just too tired for my brain to function. But I'm going to have to say, by that spelling, my brain's just not registering it. So I'm going to say no. Jade, good to see you. KRY, good to see you. Good to see you. So, one thing I have actually encountered this week that I would like to share is everyone knows it's Halloween. Everybody's having fun. People's out there having good times and whatnots. Um, See, Luna, according to Google, it's Sumerian. Oh, well, look at that. At least I was in the ballpark of the two I thought it looked like. As soon as you jumped into the live stream. Hey, they can watch a movie. Just put on some headphones. It's all good. Um, I get a lot of emails and questions about things like, this suddenly just uprooted and changed what I understood in life. Um, and it's easy to get those emails and give the advice and everything. And I always wonder that when I give this advice, um, what would I do if it hit closer to home for me? And I have to think of it as what would I do if it hits closer to home around me? Because I'll be honest, if something changes and hits me pretty directly and hard, it just me. Um, but I can honestly say today I got a phone call that it did just that. It hit very close to home for me, and it very much struck a nerve, a true nerve, a nerve that's always just been in that background for me personally, growing up all my life. Many of you know I am epileptic. And that's always a part of my life that's never been a particular fondness for many, many reasons. And, I've worked to cope with that reality. But I grew up with it, so it was easier to cope. However, today I got a phone call, someone close to me who, much later in their life, young adult, just got diagnosed. And they're basically having to completely rearrange, change, and figure out how to now handle this and work this into their standard life. And the reason I share this is because I was actually kind of fascinated to realize I found myself giving the individual who called me, as well as myself, the same advice that I would give anyone else if I was detached from the scenario. And that was kind of a weird state to be in. I don't know if you've all ever been there where you hear yourself saying something and you're kind of step back looking at it, almost like you're kind of watching it in the third person at the same time. Um, and I got to say, for me, that was kind of a weird relief feeling because it's like this weird situation where I actually got the opportunity to validate, confirm that when I calmly give you all the information and advice that I give you, that it is literally the same advice I would give me or my family. Um, and I do honestly, the reason I think it's important that we actually do measure that in the fact that we should always hold others and ourselves to the same standard, if not hold ourselves to a much higher standard. And I think more often than not, I've seen the absolute reverse. We hold everyone outside of us to an extremely high standard and we let ourselves get away with anything. But yeah, a little tidbit of interesting that happened to me today quite suddenly. Let's see, Wildfire, when you did your fasting, and if you still are, how did you deal with hunger pains? I plan to get the book you recommended, just waiting for now. That's a fair question. First off, when I did it, I already did keto or carnivore, so I was already fat adapted. That makes it so much easier. Um, but I have had gone into a fast after holidays. Holidays is the big one because I do eat a lot of carbs and sugars and everything. So going into a fast on holidays, hunger can be a bit bigger of an issue because of that. Now, if it isn't for the blood sugar drops of carbohydrates, you're not really going to have hunger pain. You're going to have hunger cravings. And there's a huge difference. Because once your blood sugar levels out and you switch over to ketosis, you're not going to have hunger pains. You're just going to have kind of hunger craving from addiction because your body already is burning a fuel source, assuming that you actually have a fuel source to burn. Now, many of you also, my daughter get up on here not long ago with me on the live stream. Someone that size, I probably wouldn't recommend fasting unless they're doing one meal a day and they're eating quite a bit for that one meal. But me, I got plenty of fat to burn, not going to hurt. But more often than not, a hunger pain it's actually not hunger. It's actually you want water and or salt. Most people, yeah, it's more salt and water that you're actually wanting. So anytime I would get a hunger pain, even after the holidays, I would just mix up a little bit of like a pinch or two of salt into a pint of cool water and chug it, and immediately hunger pain was gone. It was amazing. But all that'll be covered in the book when you get it, and follow the book and do it safely. And remember, it's not a miracle cure, and to follow protocols. Because I'm not a doctor. I did everything. I followed those protocols. I tried to keep it as safe, watch things. You know that? So let's see. I reached out to Aphrodite for the first time today. Asked if she could help me with multiple romantic partners. And she laughed. I think I'm going to enjoy working with her. Yeah, Aphrodite can be a hoot to work with. Just Jim. Hey, Jim. Happy Sunday to you too, mate. Mugs up. Uh, have a snuggly friend in the aspect. Okay. Let's see. Wildfire. I have plenty of fuel to burn. Many of us do, Wildfire. Many of us do. Many of us do. I'm actually very happy to be getting back into strength training as well as seeing. So I'm seeing muscle and weight go come on while seeing my weight go down. So it's been really nice. Let's see. Let's see. It's weird because when keto was hard for me. Keto itself was actually very hard for me to do because it's like I love my. There's certain vegetables I love and I can overeat on easy, including cabbage, cauliflower. Um, but when I switched over to carnivore, that was so easy for me because as much as I love meat, that it's this instinctively I get to the point it's like can't eat it and I'm done. I stop and I don't eat anything the rest of the day. So carnivore was far easier. But then I know other people that they really need the variety of keto to make it easier. So I mean, there's definitely those differentials in there. And don't get me wrong, I still like keto. Honestly, these holidays I'll probably try to stick closer to keto this year. But more often than not, I try to stick to pure carnivore just because, well, it's because I'm lazy. I don't want to figure out the differences and all this, and I just want to cook up a nice steak or something, have a good dinner, call it good, and go. Will I ever do a course on soul travel, or is there a book you recommend? At this time, I do not have a book I recommend. Unfortunately, I'm trying to find one. Do I plan to do a course? I want to do a course. I actually do. Um, and I quasi plan to do a course. And the reason I say quasi is I'm looking for a way to do it and do it justice. Because soul travel is one of those things, it's so very, very hard to, um, well, film it. What am I supposed to do? I mean, I can't really just film me sitting in a chair soul traveling, can I? That's pretty freaking boring. That's like watching the paint dry. Um, so I'm trying to find a way to film this course, teach this course, um, and give the information, give the exercises, and perhaps give a checklist of things in order for you to truly try and meet that would actually do it justice and make it worth doing. Okay. Because normally, if I'm working one on one with a student, I have a direct dialogue feedback that we can work on together. With a video course, I don't have the feedback directly, so I don't have that direct loop. Um, but I am indeed working on it, and we've got a few notes. I'm going to actually, after the new year, I'm hoping to get together with a few of my old students and get their input on it and see what things we can compile that would make it helpful. It is something I want to do, Pudis. It's just right now, that one is a really weird one and complicated one to do. And maybe I'm overthinking it, honestly. Maybe this is something I'm overthinking. I know I tell you all to keep things simple, but maybe this is one thing where I'm actually overcomplicating it. That's also something I probably need to meditate on. Heroin, good evening. Oh, strength training. I'm doing more lean mass strength training, and right now I'm using a total gym. I'm not using barbells and stuff. So I'm going for more lean mass flexibility, mechanical, utilized strength training. I'm not going for bulk. Um, so the way that the total gym lifts, it's lifting, well, essentially my weight plus the incline. Um, and I just started back out. So really don't have numbers to give you. Of occult, you'll have to actually. Which dragon gates do you mean? Because ironically, there's at least 12 different descriptions of what people refer to as dragon gates, and none of them overlap. It's just people tend to want to tack the word dragon to things. And ironically, the dragons themselves don't have any structures that bear that name, which I found odd and actually disappointing. I will lie, I was a little disappointed. It's like, y'all need some dragon gates. Uh, but my opinion was not heeded, and they did not decide they needed them either. So, you know, it depends on which ones you're talking about, on to how much and what I know of them, and what I would be allowed to share on them. Unfortunately, mate. Oh, let's see. No ways. I'm ways off before I start soul traveling myself. Uh, Appreciate it. I try not to take my time too much. You know that I get with so many delays. I'm always worried if I take my time on anything, I'll never get nothing done. Um, we have had technical difficulties on the tarot class, which was supposed to be up before Halloween. That ain't happening. I'm already upset about that one, but it is coming. We've got a lot done. I'm actually very happy with what we did get done, technical issues or not. Um, but yeah, there are a lot of courses that I am wanting to get filmed and get on the school. Um, I got to admit, I didn't think the school would be able to reach and do as good and help as many people as it has just this year alone. Um, I'm honestly proud to say, from all the compliments and everything that the YouTube channel and the school gets, um, I'm actually floored to have been able to help as many people as I have. So that's been pretty cool. So I want to try and keep that momentum going, try to reach and help more people. Nixion, are you planning to make some videos on your Gnostic series? So, any thoughts on who you'll do next? My Goetic series, not Gnostic, Goetic. Sorry, read that wrong. Yeah, we do have more videos for the Goetic series coming out. And for those who are wondering what entities we'll do next, we are currently going in numeric order. And I can't actually, because I try to film ahead, just in case we do run into a technical issue, and that way I'm not always filming and uploading at the wire. So I'm not sure who I filmed last. I want to say it was Burr. So probably the 11th Spirit that would film, or did I already film the 11th Spirit and upload it? Anyways, it'll be like 11 or 12. It'll be, they're in numeric order there, so you shouldn't have an issue there. But we are going to continue that. Let's see, this time of year being the outdoors are mostly done, I found a good time to work with Hell. What are some of the things you do when working with her? Yeah, right. This is actually a really good time to work with Hell. A fantastic time as the world does go to sleep and begins its cycle of death and rebirth. Um, Her and I've worked on a lot of things over the years, and generally when I'm working with her, I tend to like it to be. Um, I actually focus on two different styles of ritual with her. I do a nocturnal ritual at night when I keep it as dark as possible in the room, if not completely dark, depending on the particular working I'm doing. But I also do a day ritual where it's bright, it's sunny, I got everything lit as possible. Because one of the factors most people forget about Helheim, if you read the Eddas, Helheim is not a dark, gloomy, desolate, frozen wasteland. It is actually described as bright, sunny, blue skies, green fields, and crops. Um, Now, true, it does have the underground portion, but that is not the only portion of Helheim. And hell is actually over and governing all of it. So it's important to work within both of these aspects. And when I work with her, it's usually um, largely seeking a self understanding. Um, because there is no point along your path, and this is something she taught me. There is no point in your life or along your path or in your existence when the only thing you have is you, than at the point of death. And that is why most people are absolutely petrified and terrified of death because they have no excuses. They have nothing to hide behind. There's nothing they can blame. There's no one they can call for help to do it for them. Everything that's about to happen is 100% absolutely on your shoulders, and it's a path that you will walk alone. Um, that's also one of the reasons we have so many legends of guides, of entities that meet us or guide us to the other side or to the next life, however that particular tradition will frame it. But the actual act, the actual experience, it's all you. It's all you. Even if after the experience they're standing there waiting, you still had to go through it alone, which I find personally fascinating. So it's a lot of self focus, but I do spend a lot of time working with ancestor work with her, understanding those passages, understanding those currents, understanding those cycles. Um, so, but by and large, yeah, I try to work within both the side of hell that represents peace, paradise, comfort, rest, enjoyment, those. But I also try to understand that darker half as well, because both of them serve a very, very important purpose. So there's that. Angela, have I ended up getting the Angel Tarot? Not yet. Um, like I think I mentioned it that night. We're actually in that part of the year where I can't really go out buying things for myself too much because everybody else is wanting to buy me Christmas presents and all that stuff. And if I go out randomly buying things, then we might double up, or I might purchase something someone else has already purchased me. I got like 5 people that's already started buying gifts for me, so I'm kind of put on a hold there for a little bit. See, Angela, I recently found your Hell video and was refreshing, as a lot of people seem to think she's terrifying or talk about her like you should be scared. Yours was very refreshing and made me. Well, thank you, thank you. I absolutely adore her. She is one of the deities I love to spend time and work with. She's actually one I'd say I work with weekly, even. Um, so yeah, and there are a lot of misconceptions about her. Because if you actually read in the Eddas, there's no mention of her being monstrous or half decayed or anything. The closest it comes is it mentions she is half pale and half. The word roughly translates to blue, so it basically translates into her having two colors of skin. Um, but there is also a word for half dead or dead, not necessarily half dead, and they don't choose to use that word. At least all the translators I've spoke to about it, which just means, I I do understand that that would show her duality, but I think the modern artistic representation pushes that a little too far and is trying to put her in a more monstrous view than she actually is. Um, and I do know there's some older artwork that kind of paints on that, but it also is coming from a Judo Christian transition slant. And I mean, we see this with everything, even angels, because let's be honest, angels aren't the pretty cute little things even Christians paint them as. So, um, yeah, it's one of those things. I'll admit, when I first approached her and realized she wasn't that monstrous thing, I was a bit surprised, pleasantly surprised, but surprised. So, and she's after all these years, I'm still learning more and more about her, and I love it. Let's see. Let's see. AT12, like Jotun, which she is half child of. I'm not mistaken. Correct me. Actually, technically speaking, we don't know the. She would no, she would be a full Jotun. But here's the thing: a lot of people also have a misunderstanding of Jotuns. They want to think Jotuns in and of themselves are just naturally large, destructive, monstrous creatures. Again, they are not. The Jotuns and the gods themselves are, you can think of, don't think of them as species, think of them as tribes. So you got two different tribes of people. Um, Beyond that, there's no real separation because Hel's father is Loki. Loki was a Jotun. Hel's mother was Agrabota. Agrabota was a Jotun. Um, so you do have that. Um, so technically speaking, she is a full Jotun. Now, Jotuns of Jotunheim are viewed as primal, chaotic entities. But if you read in the Etis, many of these Jotuns, many of these giants were also wives and husbands of the Azir and the Vanir. Um, and not all of them are just destructively evil. Um, so, a lot of what we view in the modern myth is just painted with a very, very broad brush that overgeneralizes everything. Um, and when you start diving into the poetic eddas and you start seeing that they're not necessarily separated races or beings or whatever you want to call them, they're just different tribes of the different realms. Um, the story takes on a whole new spin and a whole new meaning. See, Dora, she's one of the kindest entities that come into my life. uh, Able to get a permanent space set for her. She is. She is. Again, she's a caretaker. She is a very, very good host. She's very kind. She's very compassionate, though she does take her job seriously. And if you ever want to see her mad, just watch somebody who tries to manipulate, mess with, or abuse the dead, because then you'll never be so afraid as what looking into the face of hell at that time. Because remember, when it comes to the dead, even Odin himself has no power over hell. So when it comes to protecting the dead and her charges, the people she is um, set to look after, she's a very, very protective individual. Which Personally, I understand it and I love it. And I think it is a kindness, a strength, and a power that it means a lot to me because I know it's going to be crazy. Y'all didn't know this, but I grew up Southern. That's a joke, right? Because my accent, y'all know that for dang sure. Um, and when people told me that guys don't respect women, I never really understood that because in the South, I don't care who you are, the matron of the house, the mother, she could cock an eyebrow. Everyone at that gathering would freeze and they're trying to figure out who did something wrong and they're hoping it's not them because there's a butt whooping coming. Um, so having that strength, that authority, that power also comes off very motherly to me, just in the way I grew up. Um, because I honestly can't think of anything more protective, more loving, more caring than a true Southern mama. See. No, 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 no. The blue hue, that's a Marvel thing. By and large, the Jotuns they have the same complexion as any others. Though certain Jotuns, if they're particularly tied to one thing or another, they might take on a color to it. Because again, Loki is a Jotun. Um, and in many cases, Jord, she is often referred to as a Jotun and a giant. And Jord is essentially Mother Earth, which makes sense when you look at how the Jotuns are painted. And she is the mother of Thor. So um, a lot of people forget that. Thor's mother is one of the giants as well. So it depends on how the particular author of which poem is using the word Jotun, whether it just means giant or whether it means giant of Jotunheim. But um, yeah, you do have a lot of that happening. Scaldi is actually a giant as well, and she's also one of the gods. So you see a lot of this where the overlap is there. That doesn't affect the color of their skin or anything. See, Uber Pudis, have I read the Magical Evocation book of Franz Barden? Um, you know what, Uber, I'm not sure I have. That name's not sounding familiar. And usually author names jump out at me. I know I'm tired today, but you'd think I'm not that tired. If you can, mate, I if um, after stream, if you don't mind, link the book to me in my direct messages, Pudis, and I'll double check that one because the name's just not jumping out at me. I apologize. See, are there any more entities from Norse or other religions like Agrabota that humans can't work with? Is Fenrir one of them? Um, well, this is actually this gets argued and debated a lot because well, there are people who try to work with Agrabota. There are, and as I've said before, I have never seen any one person who actually worked with Agrabota who did not regret it. Um, well, hold on, let me phrase that. I saw their life fall apart, but they were too stubborn to consider the fact that it might have been her. So they were regretting their life falling apart, but they still wouldn't even consider the concept that everything that was wrong might be because they're poking the bringer of sorrows. So to that, there are people who attempt to try and work with Fenrir. There are. And it's kind of the same thing with those people. I've never met one that actually has managed to reach out and contact the wolf that has not had chaotic destruction just kind of saturate their life. And in my experience, well, that makes a lot of sense. Look who and what this wolf is. Um, so I hesitate to say it's impossible because there's so much that, on a broad scale, the word impossible is so finite. Um, but yeah, I've never actually located anyone who's managed to work with him in a safe, functional way. I do know people who have utilized and worked with Fenrir in a very destructive, baneful magic way, where they are actually directing that destruction, that chaos, that death that is Fenrir at someone in terrifyingly effective efficiency. But I've heard of plenty of people who are trying to work with Fenrir as if he is one of the gods. And I've also heard people like, Fenrir's not a god, he's a wolf. Well, let's be honest here. If you're going to say Hel, who is the daughter of Agrabota, and Loki, has enough intelligence to be a god, when we know she is, we know Fenrir has intelligence. That's perfectly shown in the Edis as well. Just because his physical form is that of a canine doesn't make him any less intelligent or wise. Even Odin will tell you that. But I wouldn't even say it's ultimately his motivations. Because people's like, well, the reason Fenrir's so pissed off is the gods betrayed him. They did. You're absolutely right. But the kicker to that betrayal is, did they betray him, or because, well, they did betray him. It was a shitty thing. But at the same time, if you read the entirety of the Edis, had Fenrir not be bound, Fenrir would not have been capable or able of doing his job within the multiverse, if you will. So he's not an evil entity. He's not an evil wolf. But he is meant to be a force of destruction because he plays a very, very pivotal role in the cycle of Ragnarok. And if you read through all the tales, all the poems, you will notice that there's a thing where Odin and Loki seem to always be pushing things forward, always, toward that point of Ragnarok, which is a cycle of rebirth. And to break that cycle would be one of the most destructive, harmful things possible. And there's times where even Loki takes on the personification of and acts outside his nature to further that, which is a much larger conversation for a different time. And myself and a few heathens and also truths, we've discussed this and debated it. Some agree with me, some don't. Some, when they've heard my insights and thought processes on how this cycle and how Odin and Loki sneakily manipulate the pieces on the board to make sure the cycle continues. Many of them actually kind of go back and reread the Edis with a new view, a new lens on it, and that in and of itself gains new insights. No, we're not going to start a class over in the voice chat, or the live stream discussion. Loki. And if your parents are banning you, yeah, that's going to give me questions on your age there. I'll be honest with you. I think he said Finner, didn't he? Did I read the wrong freaking name and just be talking about the wrong freaking entity? Yep, I read Finner. Okay, it was Finner. Okay. Woo. Arnoldus just scared me, dude. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's see, where were we? So there we go. Let's see, where are we at? We're at 46. So yeah. Um, though actually thinking about it, that doing a video on um, seeing if I could outline a video on that full um, thought process of Odin and Loki working together to push that cycle forward, even when the other gods are almost actively trying to prevent it. I think that might be an interesting video idea, honestly. Anthony Dario of Hits Draconians. That's true. Draconian and dragons are not the same thing. Also, a dragon cannot be housed within a human body without it just immediately just basically exploding, not even on a singular cellular level. So even any of the most minute of their energy would um, destroy the human body. So you'd actually have to take the dragon, shape it into something that's no longer dragon, and that would be the worst, most horrible punishment and fate. That'd be a fate worse than absolute complete soul death for a dragon. So that would suck. And as far as 12 dragon lords on Earth, I've seen it in an anime, but the dragons themselves don't have any particular vessels here. But outside anime, not really seen anything on it um, from the dragons themselves. There are people, persons that have taken the titles, but not true dragons. So tomorrow is my birthday. There is any ritual or spell I can do for it? Yeah, that's a great question. That is a great question, Anthony. So on your birthday, and on my birthday actually, I like to sit down and figure out, because honestly and truly, outside the whatever we're using for a calendar at the time, okay, humanity's changed our calendars I don't know how many times. So outside of the calendar, I love to look at my birthday as, okay, I have completed an entire trip around the sun. Okay, a Drake trip, because my birthday is me. So I completed that Drake trip. So I love to look at what I completed, what I accomplished, what I got success with that last year. And then I also like to make a list and come up with an ideal and a game plan for what I want to do the next trip around the sun. And I will actually set goals and things that I want to do that next trip around the sun. And I will actually set up spell workings and ritual workings to do to reach those goals. Um, in fact, if you're crunched on time, you can even do a singular ritual to focus energy and to help you reach that goal. So you can actually do a goal completion ritual over your list, just the singular list there. And if you're doing that, you'll find that instead of having to do a ritual for each individual goal or whatever it may be, that singular list thing that you make and that singular ritual to help you achieve those yearly goals for that trip around the sun um, helps push all those goals forward. And I like to do something like that for my birthday because that really just starts everything on a really good note. I know I've talked about doing stuff like this at the beginning of the year, the first of the year, and I do. But I really love doing this stuff on my birthday when it's dealing with personal goals, personal growth, personal. I love doing it then. Um, and I also find that just for yearly in general, also it helps reinforce that. Um, but if I feel I need it, I will also build and do extra spell work throughout the week, like one spell per goal following that birthday. So not only do I start the momentum good, but I just follow that momentum out and I really start that trip around the sun off right. Does that make sense? Am I making sense or am I just rambling on like a crazy Southern? Um, Maybe I'm doing both. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, and Diorio, happy birthday, mate. Done that whole rant. Didn't say happy birthday. Fuck's up to you. Happy birthday, mate. Oh, let's see. Wildfire. Is it possible for two pieces of the same soul to be on Earth at the same time? Me and my fiance are constantly having the same thought process on almost everything. So I thought, why not ask curious? Okay, Wildfire, that's actually a really good question. And I have to answer this with an almost incomplete answer. I apologize on that. But by and large, it is when you get deep into soul research and soul study, it does appear to be as if it's very much unlikely, potentially impossible for two fragments to be on the planet at the same time. That does not mean it's an absolute impossibility because there's, like I said, the data shows very unlikely, almost impossible. So we do have a fudgy area there. But here's the irony. If you and your fiance are getting along happy and sharing a thought, you're not the same soul. Because if two soul fragments met, they would absolutely despise and loathe and hate each other. Because two soul fragments of the same soul is going to have such vastly different goals and growth. It's going to be oil and water. However, when you do meet someone, you two get along really well and you just, connect. Much like me and my wife, you do get that natural resonance for each other. You get to be able to pick up on surface thoughts, the like, their mannerisms, and you guys will start completing sentences, having the same thoughts, laughing at the same crap. I mean, it just happens because I can look at my wife across the room and she knows pretty much what I'm thinking. And if we're out in public, it's usually like, please get me away from this stupid person, please. Unfortunately, more often than not, she laughs at me and is like, buddy, you're the one drug us out here. So she just lets me hang. But yeah, it's actually a really interesting question. In fact, I've always found it fascinating that the two fragments would actually despise each other personally. That's one of my more fascinating concepts that I learned because it does seem like it's like, well, it makes sense. I mean, it's you, so you would like you. When actually, nope. Generally, the thing you're going to be the least liking is you, which makes sense too when you think of shadow work. Shadow work is just dealing with you. How bad is dealing with you? Shadow work sucks. So think of it that way. Okay. Oh, and lots more happy birthday wishes. That is awesome. You guys are amazing. You know what? We should try and think of like a community birthday thingy of some kind. We have a lot of great people in here. We might want to. I might get me and the admin to kick some ideas around, see what we can come up with. Maybe it's just giving shout outs or something during the live streams or something. We need to think of something. Happy trip around the sun. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this year for my birthday, I played A Pirate Looks at 40 all day long. That was my birthday song because I turned 40. Let you know how old this old gray wizard's getting. I don't know if you've all noticed, but like I went back and watched some of my earlier videos and I realized, my goatee was black. And then I watched videos that I'm filming now, and I've like got all this just gray just creeped in. It's amazing. I had one person tell me, "Why don't you get some of that beard dye or something and dye?" It's like I like my salt and pepper. I'm proud of my wisdom hair. Let it grow. I like it. See, happy birthday. Technically, we all do birthday magic. Yeah, that's true. The birthday wish concept is actually birthday magic. You're absolutely correct. Oh, good grief! I'll never. Yeah, it's interesting because part of me is like, I understand that makes sense, and the other part's like, it don't make sense. But at the same time, it's like I know how stubborn I am. I know how contrary I am. And I don't think I would do well sitting in a room having to talk to me. I don't. And many of you have heard me say I'm an asshole. I think of myself as this. So if I think of myself as such as inhabiting me, how much of an asshole would I consider me externally of me? So it is one of those like mind warping, headache thinking, philosophical brain benders. You know what I mean? But those are some of the occult theories and stuff that I do love to talk with colleagues on. Now, mind you, you have to pretty much get everyone together and everything, make sure everyone's not going to get their tidy whities in a wad just because you're discussing something that we may disagree on. Because trust me, you get that one person who, instead of discussing theorem, it's like it's this way or the highway. It can just kill a wonderful conversation. See, KRY, now that I think about it, what would a dragon even be made out of if it decided to? Less than the physical, pretty much no material we know would be able to support. Well, the planet wouldn't support them, honestly. Most of the dragons that have the ability to manifest would actually, their aura alone would rip this planet apart, it'd be bad. See, Luna, his goatee was black. He then opened Discord. Oh, Luna, I may take that. That may be my excuse for now. Don't get me wrong. I love my Discord community. I do. But I don't think a lot of people realize how much time, effort I put into the community. And yeah, I've lost some sleep over it. Luna might be right. Might be. We still love y'all, though. Which is all the more reason to say thank you to the admin at the Discord, because seriously, without you guys, I could not manage this myself. I could not. And they do it voluntarily, believe it or not. And they put up with me. They put up with me and help with that community for free. That's crazy. But that's how good people they are, and we love them for it. Gray's hairs are good. It's where the entities you worked with ran their fingers through and left some magic. I like. Ooh, Angela, I like that one. Ooh, I've never heard that one. I like that. I like that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm keeping that one. I'm keeping that one. I really do. Yeah. I was thinking about doing like an admin appreciation month over at the Discord because they put in a lot of work. And actually, our own little Luna here, many of you have seen her artwork, and well, she done a lot of the emojis we use here in the live streams. She recently agreed to be a moderator because she was already helping out in so many ways. It's like you might as well get the credit for it too. So she recently made moderator. Everybody say thanks for doing that, Luna. We appreciate it. Of course, Bernolda's, Peachy, Halloween, and Jade. You all know them. Um, so I mean, well, Halloween's my daughter, so she has to put up with me no matter what. But they are a great bunch, and I really couldn't do it without them. Feel free. My great grandmother told me, "Ooh, even better." Victory love. Can dragons help me stay in a vibration? It depends what you mean by that. Vibrations have to change. They have to change. They can't be stagnant and stationary. So if you mean can they help you stay in a permanent vibration, just constantly flatline, stay there? No, because that's not balanced. That's not healthy. That's going to cause you to go cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. And then we're going to have to get you a white jacket. You're going to have to be hugging yourself. We're going to put you in a nice little wagon with a light on top and take you to a nice little place to stay with padded walls. No one wants that. Now, however, if you mean can they temporarily help you to shift your vibration to help meet a goal temporarily? Yes. You just got to find a dragon that also matches with that goal easily. Why isn't there a non-elemental dragon flame ritual? Because the dragons will not allow me to share the rituals above and beyond the dragon's flame ritual at this time. Many of the rituals in which go be above and beyond that one are rituals that they have given me very specifics on when I can or cannot share those for many different reasons. Um, and I have seen those rituals go wrong, and I've seen the absolute destruction that they can bring if not done correctly or done within the right spacing or pacing. And it's not something that should be just tinkered with, played with, and just here go see what happens. Um, and since the dragons are largely responsible for much of what I've been able to learn, many of the blessings in my life and guidance and helping me do so many of the wonderful things I've done in my 40 years on this earth, and definitely during my magical career. I both honor and respect their wishes to maintain the information and release it in accordance with, well, their wishes. So you will probably see those well, you will see them in Dragon Magic 103. I know that for a fact. When they will let me put it on YouTube, they have not given me any um, indication of when that will be. So that will be completely up to them. And there's the clocks. They're throwing clocks at me. So, okay, we will go ahead and wrap up here, and I will, let's see, decided to check the clock when I woke up. Live streams. Yep. Okay, we need one of those those old grandfather clocks. Hey. Can a guardian dragon help with energy work? Abso-friggin-lutely. They're amazing with it. In fact, once you get a guardian dragon, I would include them in every magical working you're doing. I would. They are amazing at helping, and they are a great asset, ally, and friend to have during any of those workings. Totally. So yeah. And if you ask them, they'll help. As long as it doesn't go against the balance, that would be the only kicker. As long as you're staying within that concept of the balance, which is the prime rule of the dragons will follow, they will help. So yeah. Your time checkers make me chuckle. Oh, I love them to death. I really do. I love my time checkers. And to be fair, they know me. I'm Southern. You get me talking, I will talk and talk and talk. We could be here all night. So without them, yeah, I'd probably never sleep. So got to thank them. Good night, Drake. Love and blessings. And I'm going to guess it marked that as spam. So we're going to go ahead and show that. Many blessings to you, Perwin. Have a great night. Just name them what I want to call them. Let's see. Cheers, Drake. Take it easy, Stuart. All right, everyone. I am going to hop off here before Jade throws another clock at me. And now it looks like she's got Luna helping chuck more clocks. So before it turns into a massively unfair game of dodgeball with clocks, I'm going to go ahead and get going. We do have a video coming out Tuesday. This is going to be a busy week. We've got several videos we got to film, as well as we're going to continue working on the tarot class. So stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. And of course, we are getting ready to go into the holidays, which things get a little crazy. And we will try to get a bit of holiday content out. For those of you who've been asking about kitchen witchery, we have already got a few kitchen witchery videos uploaded again. So be looking forward to some of those kitchen witch videos. And we have a few more ideals ready to come. So yeah, everyone have a fantastic week, and I will see you Friday for the next live stream and research and ramblings. All right, y'all take it easy and good night. Bye bye.